time for all the hits, highlights, and heroes. It's time for Friday Night Blitz.
It's going to come down to just guys going out and making plays, okay? It's going to be, that's what this game boils down to. Who are the playmakers on this team, okay? We're going to find out tonight. When the bright lights are the brightest, that's when the stars come out and elevate their play and get it going, okay? I want to find out who those guys are tonight.
This is no longer about the bell for you. The bell is a concern of the 15,000 people up there watching. Your concern is to play the best football that you can play.
It's all about just us getting better and executing, and then we'll ring that bell afterwards, all right?
You go out there and you handle it, and you play for each other, and you hit them in the face, time after time, and you make sure that they know it's going to be a long night for the boys in blue.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better than us taking you inside the locker room before tonight's bell game between Pueblo Central and Pueblo Centennial. Good evening and welcome to the Friday Night Blitz. I'm your host, Rob Namnoon. There were a slew of rivalry games on the docket tonight. Doherty versus Palmer, Palmer Ridge versus Lewis Palmer, and of course, maybe the biggest rivalry of them all, the bell game. For more on the bell game, we go to Dutch Clark Stadium and join Nick Rothschild. Good evening, Nick.
Hey, good evening, Rob. I've got chills from hearing that Coach Palumbo sound. Again, I was in the locker room before the game, man. If that guy can't get you fired up, you may want to check the old ticker. You may have a few issues there. And, hey, guys, I think the Bulldogs may have just scored another touchdown. The game long over, but their offense was clicking on all cylinders. Let's get you into the highlights right now. The Centennial Bulldogs, the Central Wildcats, the bell game, playing for that fateful bell, and those Wildcats are ready to go. The Bulldogs were too. We tossed the coin and off we go. Carlos Vigil came into the game as the starting quarterback. However, he was ousted by Patrick Gonzalez, but Vigil doesn't care. He'll take the ball anyway, and you get it. First play from scrimmage for the Bulldogs, 71 yards to the house, 7-0 Bulldogs. Now Gonzalez, he was doing his own bit of work. Playing in his first bell game as a sophomore, the kid was doing work. Touchdown for Gonzalez. They were running the option all night. He was making good decisions all night as well. Central's defense, though, did find a way to put down the Bulldogs, at least for a moment. After those first two touchdowns, Central solves the Centennial offense. It ends up being 17-0 as we go to the halftime break. Diego Cervantes, he was running like a madman for those Wildcats, trying to get the offense rolling, breaking out a few truck sticks as well. But the Wildcats offense, boy, it was just sputtering all night, while the Bulldogs, they were straight thriving. Fourth down near the red zone. That head coach, Mike Palumbo, I told you he gets the ticker going. He sure did in this one. He says to heck with a field goal, and he chooses the reverse pass. Goes Vigil to Beggs, and Beggs scores, putting the Bulldogs up pretty much an unsurmountable lead at that point. Vigil might as well tack on one more while we're at it. He gets a John Elway-esque flip into the end zone for the last score of the game. That puts him up 31-7, and that would be the final score of the game. Centennial running the Wildcats out of the building, and tonight in Pueblo, the bell bleeds red.
Felt amazing, only being a sophomore and how we lost the last year. Came back, I wanted to win it 10 times more than they did, and we came out and we fought, and it feels good.
It's pretty memorable. It'll be something I'll tell my kids about.
All I can say is it's an amazing feeling, once-in-a-lifetime thing. The biggest rivalry game in Colorado, on this side Mississippi, and it's just great to win it back.
Rob, I want to talk about a couple of those guys that we heard from. Carlos Vigil, I told you he was the quarterback coming into the year for the Bulldogs. He's a small guy, but he told me before the season he plays with his heart, and part of that was giving up the job to a sophomore in Patrick Gonzalez. Gonzalez coming in, playing in his first bell game, runs the offense to a 31-7 final and scores a couple touchdowns, also is making decisions on those pitches. You can't talk enough about the poise from the sophomore Gonzalez. And really the big story for me is Lane Borden. On the defensive side of the ball, honestly, Rob, this should have been a shutout for those Bulldogs, and Borden, the leader in the middle linebacker for that defense, this is the first game he's played since last year. Tore his ACL the week before the bell game last year. He's a senior. It comes full circle for Borden. He brings the bell back to Centennial. I'm telling you, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about this kid. You could see it in his face, how much this meant to him to get that bell ringing red once more before he leaves high school for the last time. So I got to tell you, for my first bell game, I feel like I was a little spoiled with the storylines and the game itself. Boy, did it not disappoint. Again, 31-7, Centennial beats Central in the 2016 version of the bell game. For now, Nick Rothschild. Hopefully they don't turn the lights off on me here at the Dush. I'll send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Nick. Good job out there. And as the bell switches hands tonight, it goes from blue to red. Well, that's going to be tough to beat, but we have plenty more to come on this edition of the Friday Night Blitz, including Pine Creek and Fountain Fort Carson. The Eagles once again facing a tough opponent tonight. We'll let you know who came out on top in this one, the Eagles or Trojans.